First off, we can start with, this is actually a sample of ore samples. Ore is a word used to describe economic or mineral-bearing rock that's mined out of the ground. This actually comes from a sample from the 1980s and 1990s from Flin Flon, Manitoba, further north. This is Hudson Bay Mining and Smelting. It's called Hud Bay Minerals now. But essentially, the mineral that everybody's looking for is copper. Copper is used in a variety of settings. And this is kind of what copper looks like after it's been refined. Kind of see kind of how it's brown or copperish color, as it were. Yeah.
Brown?
Yeah, have a look-see. This is what the copper looks like when it comes out of the ground. And after it is...
Brown.
Yeah. This is zinc ore. It's called sphalerite. And when the ore is refined, it turns into refined zinc right here. So raw ore, and then after refinement. Yeah, the zinc mineral is called sphalerite. And the copper ore is called chalcopyrite. That's kind of neat. It's more from the economical aspect, but I can't imagine you guys care much for economic mineral development. Alrighty, so let's just have a look at some rocks here. Let's have a look at this guy right here. By the looks of this, it is a sedimentary rock and a carbonate. So this rock was actually formed under the ocean a long time ago. The white colored rock, or the white coloring of this rock, is called limestone. This came from the ocean a long time ago, yeah. And so the white stuff is limestone, and the brown yellow stuff is called dolomite. The only difference is magnesium. And these patterns, in which are marked by the darker color, was made by insects and other creatures. Because when this was just like the bottom of the ocean, they would dig down and burrow and live there. And then after a while, some alteration would occur that would turn it brown. So yeah, pass that around. Look at that's limestone and dolomite. Yeah, it's kind of cool. In Manitoba, once you get a little older and you notice a lot of the building materials, rocks and stone used around the beginning of the 20th century in Winnipeg, it's called Tyndall stone. Comes from the Tyndall Quarry in Tyndall, Manitoba. That is essentially the same style of rock, limestone and dolomite, you may see. Pass that down the line there, partner. Yeah. Limestone and dolomite. Interesting stuff. Oh, it'll gradually go around the table. Everybody can have a look.
Pass it around to Jen.
I guess the cool part about that one is it formed in the ocean millions and millions of years ago. Yeah.
Okay, give it to
By the looks of the erosion that came out of a river.
Give it
around. Okay. After Syra has a look at that, we will move on to something else. Alrighty. Let's look at this guy right here. This actually looks like a coral. A coral is an organism that lives in the water, close to where the sunlight is penetrating the water column. At one point, was a living creature. And when the living creature expires, it leaves essentially its carcass, husk, whatever you want to call it, but it's made out of calcium carbonate, which eventually turns into limestone, like this stuff right here. Yeah, this was once a living organism. Coral.
And also hole in it.
That's correct. It's correct. Those holes were actually used by the. Oh, I think he was looking at that there, buddy. Okay.
Give it back, please.
Essentially, those holes were while that organism was alive to draw in water and to remove nutrients. That's how the filters were used. Coral reefs. When you're all older and you're all going to warmer climates, ocean climates that have coral reefs, perhaps you can dive in the vacation key. Still use this at university. Yes, well, it's kind of a universal way to test. One of the biggest things they teach is how to identify stuff, you know? Now this, for example, the one thing you can notice is how, well, from your perspective, on how kind of sparkly it is. You can see it sparkles because there are little tiny crystal growths. So essentially what that means is when this mineral crystallized, it did it in a slow fashion. So each one of these little crystals could actually form. I'm not sure what this is. This might actually be a carbonate as well. Maybe dolomite or maybe siderite. An iron-rich carbonate. But anyways, this likely formed in a cavity. So it sits inside a cavity and crystallizes. Here, pass that down the line, that part. Yeah.
You can start telling the next one.
Okay.
Yes.
Now this guy right here is called galena. This is a lead sulfide. This is lead ore. This occurs in, typically it's called a volcanogenic massive sulfide or VMS deposits, which are quite pronounced in northern Manitoba, where I'm from, Yeah. So essentially this is smelted or refined down to separate the lead from the sulfur. And yeah, turn it into lead.
So the lead is very bad for people, correct?
Correct. If lead gets in the bloodstream, it can occur many mental degeneration diseases.
So keeping this rock in my house, is it okay?
I probably wouldn't powder it and feed it to the kids anytime soon, but like I wouldn't suck on it by any means. I've dealt with it lots. I just wash my hands afterwards. Lead is, over the years, you've heard of lead in gasoline. Obviously, that was developed in the 1920s. That did a lot of damage to people after a while, and then that's why they stopped making lead in gasoline. But yeah, I just wouldn't suck on it. But yeah, galena, lead sulfide. Maybe you won't pass this one around.
Yes, please.
But it's nice and shiny. I'll just hold it right here. Anyways, this is an ore. This is, in large enough quantities, is worth money.
Come close.
Which is important in minerals. That's how we turn it into a business. Now this guy, how sparkly this is. The first thing I would notice is when you look at a rock, right now I can see that the breakage or the fraction or cleavage patterns almost looks like glass. They're almost conchoidal. Therefore, I would say this is a chert of some sort, or jasper perhaps. But I don't know what's causing all the lustrous shiny that's in there. But yeah, chert or jasper. It's cool. You betcha. Yes, it's shiny, and that's half of what really draws people's attentions to rocks. Because they're walking through the bush, typically, and they'll see something and be, whoa, what's that? That's shiny. And it draws you towards it, and then you want to investigate it further.
That kind of a rock, I remember I used to have a ring in my childhood which has this rock as a jam.
Yes, and when light hit that rock, did it form like a cat's eye almost?
Yes.
Yes, that feature is called chalcedony. It's a French word, but I think it's French. I guess I'm on camera now, so I better be right. But it's when the light hits it, it forms a feature almost like a cat's eye. Sapphires and other elements will, corundum or sapphire and ruby will form like a star, almost like six lines. Something like that, yeah. Star sapphire. It's been a while. It's been 15 years since I've been in school, so. And mostly I look at this stuff. Hopefully it's got oil in it. Chalcedony, you should see what that is. Alrighty here, so what have we looked at? This is the same style of rock.
Like that.
Yeah. You can see these are tiny little quartz crystals that have crystallized. This likely came from some sort of cavity or void or vesicle, air bubble. But it's cool because it's shiny. So have a look at that one, buddy. And pass it down to your friends. Yeah, I don't think there's anything in there, but it is hollow, I believe. That would be cool.